What's up? Well, I hope everybody's doing good. Looks like just one. That's 4 people in here. Let me get into YouTube here. I like to be in the chat too. Now you have to bear with me. I have not much voice tonight. So we probably will diddly around and get right into the videos here soon. I hope everybody's good. The 3 other people that are here, or 4 of the people, 1 left. Fine, be that way. Oh, Gemma's not here. That's probably. But anyways, I hope everybody's having a good night. I'm going to give it a couple minutes, let some people come in, and I'm going to get right into the video since my voice is a little rough. Hope you're all doing good. Pretty casual day for me, just hanging out, relaxing. Actually, I did a lot of yard work. Man, the leaves are endless around this neighborhood, so I've been doing leaves. Did some running this morning. Talked a little too much Friday night after stream. I was on the phone. Hey, Ryan. Hey, how you doing, dude? What's up, my man? Hey, it's the ghost with. I don't know if I'm with the most. I have my moments. Well, I appreciate it, dude. Okay, well, lay it the smackdown. Well, you do what you got to do. You will be there Tuesday, right? I don't know if she asked you or not. Tired, got done doing, the show with Paranormal Odyssey. That's cool. Cool breeze. I'll have to go catch it later on tomorrow when I get some free time in the evening. Cool breeze. I'm not sure if I'll be there yet. I'm supposed to get a call Monday morning. I may have to go in and do some. I'm waiting to see if they're going to approve the tests. And if they do the tests, I'll probably leave around 1:30 because they wanted me there between 2 and 2:15. So I may not be there Tuesday. I don't know yet. It all depends on what goes on with the phone call tomorrow. So I'd appreciate it if you were there. That would be awesome. Hopefully I may be there, but I'm not going to count yet until I talk to them tomorrow. I haven't said anything to her because I don't know yet. And she's been busy, so. No, I don't know, but I'm sure if you bring it up or messenger sometime tomorrow or Monday, and I'll let her know to watch for your message. Because I won't know anything until Monday morning. So, but I mean, if you got a topic, she'll be more than happy. You know her, and she'll go with the flow there. Tonight we're going to do translucent entities on her videos, 2 of them. So maybe you guys could talk about Glimmerman. Cool breeze. I appreciate it, Ryan, very much. Like I said, I'm not sure. I'd like to be there, but I got to get this taken care of. Find out if it's nerve damage or. About an hour and a half when I got up this morning, I had no voice at all. And then when it came back, it was nothing but stutter. Hello, Mikey J. I hope you enjoy your weekend now that you don't have your 3 days. Do you still get your 3 days or are you back to a normal schedule? I'm sure you're back to a normal schedule now. But hello, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you had a good week. Dang it. Trying to enjoy one of my last cigarettes for the night. But I've been cutting down on those because of the voice. But yeah, I figured I'll start a little early because of the voice. And we can always talk and chat where they play. So, and I'll probably start those probably about 20 after or so. But as I see people come in, I hope you're all doing well. Ryan and Gemma will be here Tuesday. I might be, I might not be. For Tuesday talk at 1. And then remember, I do spooky time now on Thursdays at 8. And then Gemma Fridays at 7:15 for oracles. And then Next Saturday, of course, Gemma's replays if everything goes as planned. But it's not a bad weekend. I hope everybody's having a good one. Yeah, I'm back on a skit. I figured. But last week, yeah, you said you were at the academy. I remember you telling me about that. I do remember that. But yeah, so that's the schedule. Once again, 1 o'clock, Tuesday afternoon at 1 p.m. ET, Tuesday talk. Thursday, me at 8 o'clock for spooky time. I might start a little earlier. I don't know yet. But right now, let's just stick with 8 o'clock because I like to be done by 9. Mog and Stevie B are pretty good friends of mine. And I don't want to run too much into their stream. They are good friends. I like them a lot. They're good people. And it's supposed to be a short stream anyway. So, and then Friday, Gemma's Oracles. 1-card Oracles. And then Saturday, me and Gemma's replays here at midnight. But yeah, I hope everybody had a good time Friday night. Hope everybody's getting used to the new setup. She's just kind of trying to redo her revenue a little bit and get it back up to par again until she gets her next book out. And I don't blame her. I mean, she did it free for 4 years. And she got to get a little return here. And then, like she said, if you have a membership, you don't have to worry about it. If you go to CashApp or PayPal, $2, and just put some money sign by your name when you come in and make the list. And then if you pay through YouTube Super Chats or something, it's $4 because YouTube takes half of it. So. But I think it's a good idea for right now until she gets a little bit back on her feet and she can, spice up her boxes because her mystery boxes, her box, I shouldn't say mystery boxes, but her boxes are pretty cool. So you consider those in her books. Yes, I'm doing promo. But yeah, check them all out. And Ryan did Paranormal Odyssey. So if you missed it, go back and watch on Paranormal Odyssey. If you got a link, Ryan, drop it in. Okay? If you can get the link, put it in the chat so people can go check it out later. Or if they get bored with me. Like a cool box. It's pretty cool. Hey, Kay, how you doing, bud? I hope you're well up there in Alaska. What you making? Are you cooking? I have to ask. Because you always come in talking about food. I hope you're good up there. I'm sure you guys have got snow already, didn't you? Quite a bit of it, actually, right? Probably cold up there, too. Ooh, sorry. Twitch. Sometimes when I do that, it's not me messing with my hair. It's the Twitch. They're getting really tense. They go through spells. But anyways, back to the show. But, pretty nice here. We're supposed to get rain. They were supposed to start tonight, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't even looked at the radar. Smoked beef ribs, but they are not very meaty. Ooh, bummers. You get that sometimes. At least you got good flavor with that bone. I'm sure they're going to be good anyways. Yeah, I got some beef ribs not too long ago. They weren't bad, but they weren't as beefy as they looked in the thing. We were a little disappointed, but they were good. I mean, I couldn't complain. I cooked them good. So, I mean, it just wasn't very meaty. So I know what you're talking about. Hello, Christopher. How you doing? Rain from Paranormal Odyssey was on SRR last night. There you go. I will be in Vegas this time next week. Oh, there you go. Go have some fun. Just be careful. A lot of scammers there, too, from what I understand. Never been. Been to Atlantic City in its day, many, many moons ago, but never to Vegas. Do want to go at least once. I'm a roulette guy. The slot machines are all right, but it's either roulette or 21. Don't mind a little game of Texas Hold'em once in a while. But yeah, I like playing the tables. Not bad at that either. Now we have Hollywood Casino here. That Ohio's only been a gambling state now for maybe 10 years, a little longer. They put a Hollywood casino, just casino, little west. Actually, I used to live real close to it on the west side. It's a nice place. I've been in and checked it out, but I didn't get the game. I just had to go check it out. Pretty much walked in, walked around. I got the gentleman tonight so far. So that's good. Hello, gentlemen. I don't know who's all watching in the background, but hey, I hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. Good weekend so far. Like I said, I'll start with my voice. I'll probably start the videos a little early, the uploads. Like I said, tonight we're going to do 2 on Translucence, Glimmerman. I played her first encounter a while back ago, so I'm not going to play that one again. The first one is, here we go. I hate when it does this. 3 years ago, so it should be pretty good. So Chris, Mike, AK, Ryan, I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and all you people in the background ghosting. Gentlemen, he must be talking to you guys. Now, you're all gentlemen, Mike. You're a gentleman. I know you are. You can play that game all you want, but I'm sure you're a gentleman. And you are a gentleman. All you guys are. Unless you guys know somebody. I'm kind of a gentleman off and on. I have my moments. I like to say I have my moments. I can also be a real a-hole too. So, but that's a Virgo for you. Yeah, I couldn't resist using the Predator screenshot. Hollywood was open 13 years ago. Oh, you was there? Cool breeze. I figured it was like 10. I knew it was at least 10 years ago. Because when I went in, it was probably about 5 years ago. It was always showing signs of wear, but it draws a pretty good crowd on the weekend. So they're going to tear Westland Mall. I don't know if you knew this, but there was a mall across the street from there. It's supposed to be ripped out, and they were supposed to put hotels and housing in there. There was a housing development behind the mall, which was horrible. I mean, it was one of those, it wasn't a housing development, it was apartments. My kids had a friend, one of my girls had a girlfriend who lived, that they went to school with, came over a lot, hung out with us because her home life. Parents always had to work, so she was there a lot. But there was constant gunshots, problems going on there. Yes, I saw that, Chris. I was going to say that a little later, but yeah, Tony Todd. So that's 2, right? Is that 2? So who will be the next 2 or next one? But yeah, he passed. Yeah, I loved him. He had such a great voice, and he was a big guy too. I saw him at a comic book convention many moons ago. I didn't talk to him. The crowd was seeing him. Was a little large, but he's a big guy. I didn't realize he was so tall. I knew he was a tall guy, but it was like, holy crap. His voice, he's like James Earl Jones. He's got that voice that just kind of sticks with you. It's sad. They're going to drop like flies. Everybody's starting to. All the people that we loved growing up and watching movies over the years are starting to show their age. move along in the afterlife. Because a lot of those guys were in their prime in our youth and young adult life. Now, I'm glad you were there. Hard Rock Casino opened here in Cincy 2 days after Hollywood. Now, see, is that place? Have you been there? Is it decent? I've never been to the Hard Rock ones. I know the one in Las Vegas is pretty big. Does a lot of business. Now, I take it, Chris, you've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? I've been there a couple of times. I haven't been recently, but we used to go, well, actually more than a couple of times. Because every time we went to a Browns game, we'd go check out it's okay. More or less, a lot of people say it's more just go in and check out the memorabilia that's there. Many times. Yeah, I've been there. Now that I think about it, it's been a few times back in the day, when they opened up years after. Also, we see there. I think we saw somebody. Now I can't remember who it was. We were pretty ripped. We saw somebody there. I mean, it wasn't anybody big, but we saw like a little concert there. I think it was a local band. Fairweather. If you've ever heard of Fairweather, they did a show there. Not a big one. It was just a small venue thing they did. But yeah, we used to go to the Cleveland games and we'd go before the game or after the game. We'd go before the game. We'd get there early enough to hang out there before the game. Still need to get the Funk Hall of Fame. Yes, they do. That would actually be pretty good. I'd go check that out. I would go check that out. For sure. That would be kind of cool, actually. Next thing you know, they're liable to do disco before they do that. I hope not. I don't know why, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame don't have sections for stuff like that, like a punk hall and a rapper hall, extendability. You know what I'm saying? They could do that. I mean, they do have a pretty good mix of music in there, though. I will say that. But we went, I mean, it's all right. Let's go check out the stuff and memorabilia. My kids, we took our kids one time. We had gotten, it's in Dayton. Oh, I didn't know it already existed. I did not. It has been open for years, 4 years. I didn't even know it existed. I'll be darned. Wow. I'll have to tell them, Giles. I used to be able to moonwalk, but I can't in my 5'11" boots. But I didn't know it was even a real thing. Wow, it's in Dayton. I haven't been Dayton probably. I haven't been in downtown Dayton. Last time I was in downtown Dayton, I saw Rush at the O'Hara. That was a while ago. It was a great concert, too, because we were right up front, right underneath the bass speaker, because they had them hanging. You'd feel Geddy's bass. It's like, ooh, the moonwalk. I never could do that. I can dance, but I never could do the moonwalk. I mean, old style. Oldie style dancing. But yeah, I didn't even know they had one in Dayton. That cracks me up. 4 years. Okay. I have to tell a couple of buddies. I got a couple of buddies that are into funk. I have one friend that's seen, what is that? Parliament, like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, Neil Peart, one of the best drummers around. One of the best drummers around. That guy was the professor of percussion. He was amazing to watch in concert. I've seen Rush a couple of times, actually a few times. But he is amazing to watch and listen. Actually, if you have to forgive me how I say his name, Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, when he was when he was with Asia, and we saw Asia at the O'Hara, he did the drum solo Tank. Oh man, and he uses those big, huge drumsticks too. And that was pretty awesome. But yes, Neil Peart. Yeah, one of my brothers idolized that dude. God, I hate Rush. Tom Sawyer is like nails. Nah, for you it is, but you like rap music, and I'm not really a rap guy. Or so it shows you the difference in our tastes. That's okay. And back in the day, yes. Yeah, their lead singer, he was from UFO. UFO was a good band too in their day. And the other guy, the keyboardist, well, we know who Steve Howe was from. He was from Yes, and I've seen them a couple times in concert. But the keyboardist was from that group, the Bungles, who did Radio Killed the Radio, the music, the video killed the radio star. You're wrong. I like many. Oh, I didn't say that. I figured that, Chris. But I said you love. I wouldn't say you just like rap. Here we go again. Hold on. Does this every so often. There we go. I hate when it does that. I'm sure you do. I'm just saying you like rap. I'm not a big rap guy, is what I'm saying. That's not I don't like it. There's a couple stuff I like, but I'm not a big fan of it. My kids all like it. Showing my age. We're all showing our age. But I'm sure you like it. Yeah, I know you do, Chris. I've seen all your posts on music and stuff. So I know you do. A lot of rock bands I know hate Rush. Yeah, a lot of people do hate Rush. I just like Rush. I like them. They were great in concert. I enjoyed them. Not, I just happen to like Rush. I wouldn't say they're my favorite band, but see, I was also an old punker, and a lot of my friends didn't like punk music. All my punk friends didn't go to my school. They were all buddies of mine from work. Well, that's not true. There was one guy who was a skateboarder too, who's now a surfer. He surfs in California and Hawaii, but he makes his money to enter the tournaments by going up to Alaska to the fishing boats and works the fishing boats. I haven't talked to him in like, oh my gosh, 21 years. Oh, he's doing good. He was a pretty good surfer. He was a good skateboarder too. But he was probably the only other punk rider in school. Yeah, I know you like the heavy stuff, Mike. That I do know. I like a little bit of everything. I had two older brothers, so I was raised with all the classic rock. My little brother was a headbanger, and he liked all the, Iron Maiden. I liked Iron Maiden, all them. I mean, I like hard music. I went from punk. Wow, before punk, it was mostly the classic pop stuff and classic rock. It wasn't classic rock back then, but yeah. And then I went from punk to kind of that punk new wave, but I still love my other music too. And then right back into good old heavy metal and rock and roll. Yeah, I was a member of Kiss Army too. Yep, I think my card's around here somewhere. Yeah, actually, I met them. Our neighbors next door. Their uncle was a roadie for them during Destroyer, and we got to meet them. It was funny because they made us stay out in the hallway until they got their makeup on. I remember it very well. Paul Stanley was real nice. Peter Criss and Ace Frehley, they were quiet. You could tell Ace was drunk. Chris was probably on the verge, but they were real nice guys when they did talk. And Gene, he's an interesting dude, but he is kind of a jerk. Kind of a jerk. Yes, I like Mudvayne. I've seen them in concert at the Alarosa, and I haven't seen Slipknot, but I do have a couple of their albums. Saw Mushroom Head once up at Alarosa. Now that was an interesting costume. Seen Gore. Have you guys ever? You know who Gore is, don't you? I've seen them. They were a hoot to go see. I've seen a lot of interesting. Saw the Sex Pistols. They sucked. They played 2 minutes of music. He ragged, and Ronnie Rotten was pain in the butt. Came out well. It just was an interesting show. In fact, we got our money back, which was cool. But yeah, that show was a nightmare. He come out, started singing God Save the Queen, and went on some tirade. And then they were gone. Of course, Sid was out of his mind. And let's see who else. Seen Black Flag. Seen the Dead Kennedys. I've seen the Misfits with Danzig and without Danzig. No, but I was stuck in an elevator for an hour at Gen Con with. Were you really? Are you serious? How funny. That's funny. They're interesting guys. Mm-hmm. That's a lie. Are you serious? Did that really happen? That's funny. We opened for King's X back in. Oh, really? Yeah, they are real nice guys from what I heard. Kept getting poked with food without it. That's funny. That is hilarious. Yeah, they are. From what I've heard, they are good guys. King's X. I'm sure they were nice guys with you, Chris, too. I heard they were pretty decent guys. Cigar. King's X, I've heard them are pretty good guys. So, Dimebag, the night he died, I was there. I shouldn't say died. He passed, because YouTube will get me. But the night he passed, I was there. In fact, we were sitting at the bar with him just before the show, and he was buying rounds of drinks. Because I can walk. Where I live, I walked to the show. I was actually here at the house. And it was not much after the divorce. And their costumes they wear, yeah, they are huge, dude. I don't know how they play a whole show like that. It's insane. I can imagine when they take it off, it's like, But yeah, I walked up to see him. He was in at the bar, buying drinks. Super nice guy. Dime was a hell of a man. He was like Lenny. I met Lenny a couple times at Alarosis. He would sit at the bar and buy drinks, talk to people, be real cool. I bought him a drink, and he goes, "Oh, I'll have to buy you now one." So next thing I know, he's buying everybody drinks that was sitting at the bar. Lenny was so. I had tickets. In fact, it's put somewhere too. I had tickets for Typo Negative. And I remember because they canceled the show because he was sick. And so we could refund our tickets. Well, when I went to get the refund, and you had to have your ticket, I asked if I could keep my ticket. And she said, "Yeah, keep your ticket." Peter Steele, yeah. And it wasn't but a couple weeks later he passed. Also that weekend was in the elevator with The cast of Mythbusters. I bet they're in. I bet they were interesting guys. I heard it for a while. The two guys kind of had issues with each other. Is that true? I don't know. I kind of catch the show off and on. He was only 50. Yeah, he was a young guy. He wasn't that old. No, no, he wasn't. But he had issues. If you ever listen to any of his interviews, he had a kind of a troubled life. And not up here. But from what I understood, sweet man. Carrie was so nice and hot. Of course she is. Yeah, that's why Giles watched the show, was because of Carrie. And it's a whole new cast now, isn't it? Is it, or is it the same Peter? Is it the same bunch of people, Chris? But yeah, I was all psyched and ready for Typo. No, from what I understood, he did not do steroids. He wasn't actually naturally that big. He was a big dude. You know, he had fangs. And from what I understood, the fangs were natural. He didn't have them put in. They were natural. He did. It made him look like a vampire. I don't know that for a fact. Yeah, I'm just saying, from what I've understood, that's a rumor that's gone around for a while, and I don't think he ever did. He did have a substance problem off and on, and a drinking problem. Now, if we would have gone the time as the show, when we were seeing him, I pretty much think, from what I understood, he had sobered up a little bit, but only half of them. They all do their own shows on YouTube's past few years after Grant died. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know Grant died. Hey, Cindy, how you doing, dear? Did you go get your foot checked? Smoochie, how you doing, dear? I hope you're well. Do you weather the weather? You guys were getting some serious rain down there not the other day. Are you guys still getting it? And Cindy, I hope you have that foot checked, or how's it feeling? I need to remind Cindy. Cindy, you need to remind me to get Gemma to give you a wrench. No, just woke up. I had a stream last night. My voice was killing me. Kind of why I got kind of quiet last night. Friday night, I had like no voice when I got off. It really got irritated, and then it was just a long night. It was like 5 o'clock before my body finally said, "Okay, try to lay down." And then I woke up to Gemma texting me at 10:30. Yeah, she's wrench happy. Well, she gives wrenches out because that means she trusts you, and it also keeps the trolls down when there's a ton of wrenches in the room. But yeah, she likes to make sure everybody that's pretty much a regular have wrenches. Went squelching just a few back. Just flew back now. And from Pete. Oh, cool, Snoochie, cool. Hope you had fun. Oh, excuse me. Hope you had a fun time. Time we got here. Now we'll start the upload. I was going to start it a little bit ago, but we'll get to talking. If you check my channel, you will see my list show. Okay. I got to do that too, Mike. Drop a link in here for your channel. It still hurts like, oh, I'm sure. It's like my pop. He broke his foot. He had dropped a paint can on it here in the basement a few years back. It was when my mom was still alive. And didn't say nothing. Mom kept telling everybody he's got a big, huge black and blue mark on his foot, but he won't let anybody look at it. Well, after about 2 months went by, he started complaining that his toes were tingling and going numb. So we finally convinced him to go get go to the emergency room and have it checked. And it was broke. So he had to walk around for 6 months with a soft cast. He hated it. He complained the whole time. Yeah, Mike did have Mike has a channel. I've asked him a couple times to drop the link, but I don't know if he just doesn't do it on purpose or he just didn't hear me. My grandkids, yeah. There you go. Yeah, well, Mike, none of us are good typers. I make time mistakes too. Look at my typing sometimes in oracles on Friday night. Sometimes I do the same thing here. Yeah, we're all bad typers once in a while. So don't worry. We all get it. I'm just checking everything. I'll probably start the video here in a little bit. I mean, we're talking, so I'll wait and start at about 1:45 because that's what we're here for. And I do enjoy the conversation. We had a pretty good conversation last Thursday. I kind of felt bad cutting it short. It was great. Thursday night was a good time. Thank you, folks. Yeah, I broke my other foot a few years back, but it was on the top of the toes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I broke 2 of my toes kicking something many moons ago. One grew back all twisted. The little toe grew back all twisted. Then I turned around and did the same thing with the left foot. So now my pinky toes are all twisted. Lulu Bell, how you doing? And good morning, because it is good morning. Evening, wherever you're at. But yes, good morning. And thank you for showing up, hon. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll start the upload here in a little bit. Good to see you. Did you have fun last night in Oracles? It was good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to try probably either Tuesday if I'm at. Oh, and by the way, so the new folks coming in, Tuesday talk, 1:00 p.m. ET time. You're in London. Okay, you're in England. So it's early morning. You're just now having coffee. Well, it's 1:45 here a.m. So it's morning here too. So the new day has started. Yeah, and it sucks because I was trying to get Cindy one and a bunch of other people, memberships too. But what it does is you pay for 5 and then randomly selects people. And it's funny because, like she said, it picks people that don't even half the time come in, so or they watch in the background. So I'll probably do it again if I don't do it Tuesday. If I'm not here Tuesday, because I may have doctor appointment Tuesday for Tuesday talk. So, but Ryan and Gemma will be here. I'm hoping to be here. I don't get the news if we're having the tests or not until tomorrow. Yeah, till Monday. And I keep thinking, anyways, it is actually Sunday, so it'll be Monday. I'll find out sometime tomorrow, Monday morning. But if I don't do it Tuesday, I'll try again during spooky time next Thursday. So the new folks, people popping in and out, Tuesday talk, 1 p.m. ET time here on Tuesday. Gemma, me, and Ryan. Then I don't do Wednesday anymore, midnights. I'm kind of filling it for Pixie. And that will, thank you, Mike. In fact, let me do this real quick. I want to subscribe. I'm subscribed, Mike. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Here we go. Then Thursday, 8 o'clock, spooky time. I may start like at 7:30. We'll see. In there. But right now, 8 o'clock for an hour. We're a little give or a little take. And then Friday night, Gemma's, Oracles. And then Saturdays are kind of, I'm usually here Saturdays, but sometimes, my problem is I never know with my body. I'm usually here, but if I'm not here, folks, it's either because of another obligation or it's physical. And I don't want to be here when I can't talk. Now, I'm having issues tonight, but I wanted to be here. You're welcome. I got my granddaughter to show me how to put money on my phone so that I can get a car. That's yeah, I subscribe to Mike. Yeah, I got subscriptions, and I cracks me up. It's like I haven't done anything, but I have subscribers, which is kind of cool. Oh, you're fine, Chris. You're fine. I was watching the trailer for Alien Earth. Yeah, I have to go and check that out too. That's all right, Mike. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. Yeah, Lulu Bell's having her cup of coffee. She's an early riser. See, last night, that was about the time I was going to bed, was about 5:30. It was about 5:30 last Friday night. I just couldn't sleep. And my voice was driving me nuts. Then at one point, my body decided to go the other direction. So it was kind of an interesting night. The Xenomorphs find their way to Earth TV series. Check that out. I'll definitely. I thought that's the one. I'm still waiting for Prey 2 and the other one, Wasteland. Is that what it's called? Those should be good. I guess Henry Caviezel, however you say his name, he walked out on Warhammer. So he backed out of Warhammer. Yeah, 2025. Yeah, they always make you wait. Now you sleep better than me. It's better than either. When I try to go to bed early, I'm usually up about every 15, 20 minutes, and only because I scooted my rock in my bed clear to the door against the wall. I got one from a few years ago. I had 13 subscribers. The last time I checked. Yeah, every so often I'll go look, and it's like I don't even know what I'm at now. But I still have 2 videos that I'm sitting on. I may drop one here and then drop one on Rumble. Just me rambling. They're not very long. I think the one I was going to drop on Rumble was because see, on Rumble I'm not Ghost Dragons. I'm just DragonZW because I made the channel before I added the ghost. But I was going to call it Dragons. The ramblings of a dragons. So I thought it'd be fun. I still have to edit it. The one I was going to put on YouTube, I'm just experimenting with because I'm trying to teach myself how to edit. Four or 5, not bad. Yeah, I can't. My body doesn't go to sleep until it tells me to. It's just useless. Just useless. As you can see, I'm not antsy now. But I'm glad I ran all morning. And then I did yard work. Came in, cooked dinner. Did dishes. I've been piddling around since until the stream. Weekend gig. The gig. Doing the gig. Yes, I know you're a machinist. A machinist, however you say it. By day. That's what my brother used to do for Liebert here in Ohio and Worthington. Well, actually, yeah, I do. It's funny. I live real close to the Bush, a Anheuser-Busch plant here in Columbus. I mean, it's only like 10 minutes away. It's funny that I shouldn't say it's funny, but man, they got big, huge signs out front that they're hiring. They lost a lot of people. And that one, they used to have buffalo that they had a little park off to the side, and it's still there. Just they had buffalo there. Well, for some reason, they gave up the buffalo. Now the buffalo are at a park on the west side, Darby Park. Henry backed out because he was going to play Captain Britain in Marvel, and Connor McLeod in the Highland. Yeah, I do know that. I knew he was playing Connor. I didn't know he was playing Captain Britain. Everybody's saying he also did it because he said the script was kind of woke. I don't know. I'm not a Warhammer guy, so I do like Henry though. From what everybody says, he's a pretty down to earth guy. And I've liked pretty much everything. I even liked his Man from U.N.C.L.E. I even actually liked that. But then again, I was a fan of the show, the movie, the show. Have you ever watched Rise of the Dead? It was filmed in Ohio. I'm watching it now on Tubi. Yes. I believe it was filmed out of east of me or southeast of me. I have seen it. Man, what made you watch that? That's like B-movie stuff. They have the Clydesdale. Yeah. Yes, you have the Clydesdale. We actually got to hang out. They had just had babies when I was married. When we went out for our honeymoon to Colorado. We drive. How long we drive? I wanted to see all the sights, and we stopped at Anheuser-Busch. There was in Kansas, and they just had colts or little ones. They were so cute. Loved it. Got the end of the tour. And they let you sit in a bar and test their new beers. I had it was all right, but they had that King Cobra malt liquor, and it was all right. I had a couple of those because it was new, and they only had that and something else. And the King Cobra was actually better than the other one. So the ex had to drive the rest away. I was pretty buzzed. I don't drink much, but I figured, heck, I'm on my honeymoon. He's also working on the live action Voltron movie. Really? It's what came on after the movie I was watching went off. Yeah, sometimes if you let them just go to another movie, you find some real winners. Yeah, that's funny. Actually, I think The Rise of the Dead, I think I actually have it in the DVD collection. I got it. I was getting a mystery box from a movies DVD mystery box, and it was a horror box, and I think it was in one of those. but it's out there, I'm pretty sure. Voltron. Man, I used to watch Voltron when I was a kid. I would like to see him try to make a redo Speed Racer. That Speed Racer they did a few years back. It's trippy. I guess it was more for kids, but I'd like to see him redo that. Best time to tour the bud plant, at least here, is in the fall. Probably. Voltron. I'll have to make sure I see that movie. Let me get this video going since we're going almost on 1 o'clock now. And you guys keep chatting. Let me get this set up and rock it. And the first one is on her. It's part 1 of the translucent entities. Let me get it up here. Get it set. The faceless man. Okay, everything's set. Let me make this a biggie and get it set. Let me get this baby on the screen. Share screen. No, that's not what I want. Here we go. And I'll make it big so you don't. So it covers the whole thing. So you guys just make sure you guys tell me that you can hear it, okay? There we go. I'm going to start it now. Make sure you let me know.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be talking about translucent humanoids and faceless entities. Now, translucent humanoid being the Glimmer Man or the predator entity, right? And I've been talking a lot lately about how I think that I have a sneaking suspicion that there are at least 3 different types of Glimmerman entities or translucent humanoid entities based on facts and evidence that I've seen from encounters that I've read, my encounter, and just things I've come across. So this is part 1, encounters, because I'm going to have the basics coming up as part 2 because I'm still doing my research, but I wanted to give some encounter stories because you guys seem to really like those. And you also seem to be very interested in the Glimmerman. Faceless entities is added in here because I couldn't find enough Glimmerman encounters that I thought were credible at the time of writing this script. Guys, a lot of you are complaining about my reading. I'm really sorry. It does make it go faster, but I understand your complaint. So going forward, give me a little time. I'm redoing my whole setup again. I'm going to have the green screen. I'm going to try to get the teleprompter. I'm going to hook it up, but it's going to take me a little time. So I didn't used to read, and now I'm reading only because it makes things go faster. But I realize how that could be kind of annoying to some people. I'm doing the best I can, as always. I just came from Oracle reading over on Oracles and Beyond with Cassie. Steve was there, Carol XO. And I've also been doing personal Oracle readings for people. And then on Wednesday nights, the live stream on this channel with me and Steve Stockton, Stemma, he and I read Oracle cards for like 3 hours to pretty much whoever comes in. We have like a little list. We each do like 13. So that's kind of why I've got all my jewelry on, but also the turquoise jewelry, the moonstone jewelry. It's all very comforting to me. So yeah, I might be incorporating some oracle reading, astrological oracle reading into my channel, but I'm really not sure. So who knows? I guess I'll keep you updated on that. So let's jump right in. Whether you want to call them Glimmerman, translucent, or shimmering entities, or the predator entity, I'm sure by now most of us have heard one story or another about someone who has encountered this thing in the woods, or, as in my case, near or kind of in some woods. I've already told my encounter in a video I did so long ago that I'm debating on just kind of telling it again in a newer video, or as just one encounter story of many in my personal encounters video series, which I'm working on now and which is coming soon. That's going to be just like listener encounters, but it's going to be a personal collection of my paranormal, supernatural, strange, bizarre, unexplained experiences that I've had throughout my life, which is as far back as I can remember since I was like 4 years old. So it's going to be a series. So there is no Wikipedia page for this thing yet, meaning the Glimmer Man or the faceless entity, really. But I'm sure one is coming as the accounts are becoming more and more frequent and widespread, and I'm really not surprised. After all, if one approached me and my toddler in the middle of the afternoon, extremely close to a main road, and in northern New Jersey of all places, I can't even imagine how many encounters there are happening deep in the woods to hikers, campers, and hunters who just haven't gotten up the courage to go public yet. I also believe that a lot of people don't necessarily remember they've had an encounter with either the Glimmer Man or the faceless entity, although this seems to be quite uncommon in many, if not most, of the encounters we're hearing about lately, of which there are so many more just in the past few months alone. I mean, how in the world would we ever know until the person remembers? Who knows how long that could even take? With all of that being said, and one more reminder that to hear mine or Steve's Glimmer Man encounter, just check out our channels or come into a live stream and ask us to tell it again. Here are a few more of these Glimmer Man encounters. I must say, though, it's kind of a relief. I sometimes selfishly think that now I don't have to feel so alone, and I know I wasn't imagining things with the Glimmer Man, you know? I've also come across in my very tiring research accounts of people who have not only seen this translucent or glimmer entity, but also more and more I'm seeing people reporting coming across strange human-shaped entities without a face. Like, yeah, that's literally the only way I can think to explain this to you guys. But below you'll find the encounters, and as always, it's up to you to decide if this video is for your own entertainment purposes or if you should start being more aware of your surroundings, because more and more every day there is some sort of weird, almost never heard of or seen before humanoid entity sort of creature stalking us, not just in the woods, but wherever we go. I personally choose to go with the latter, better prepared for the worst in case the worst happens. In the fall of 1978, during deer season, in a small town called Supp, Georgia, which at that time had only a population of maybe 1,000, a hunter had an encounter with one of these predator entities. I'm doing research into a theory, as I've stated above, that there are at least 3 and most likely more of these so-called Glimmer Man entities, one which is alien, another which is government, and another still which actually heals human beings' illnesses. But that isn't what we're here for, so just kind of keep it in the back of your minds, though, if you will, because there will be more to come on that. So anyway, this town is at the southeast end of Chattahoochee National Forest. This person describes himself as, quote, an avid hunter, end of quote, and says he was hunting on public land in the national forest. He knew where a water source was called Bryant's Creek, and as he had just scouted the area a few months beforehand in the summer, he also says he knew where all the game trails, ridges, and gaps were. He was very familiar with this area as he had been hunting in it for many years. He explains how he set up his lock on a tree stand about 12 feet off the ground as he thought he had found the perfect place to be able to get himself a large buck. He trimmed the branches to be able to get himself, quote, some shooting lanes, end quote, and he set out to get this buck. Because rifle hunting wasn't allowed in the area, he was using a 12-gauge shotgun. On a not particularly special day in November, the man went back to this tree stand, and as he had at least 6 times before between when he set it up and when this encounter took place, nothing unusual or unnatural was going on. It was around 4:15 p.m., and he was following his normal routine of leaving work and going directly to the woods to hunt for buck. His wife knew not to expect him before 8:30 and even later if he had actually gotten something. From where he parked at the trailhead to where his tree stand was about a 25-minute or so walk. He says he was walking as quickly as he could while also keeping in mind not to go too fast so as not to scare off all of the wildlife, most of which have superior hearing to us humans. Here's where things started getting weird. Weird to him and maybe to some of you, but I'm guessing not to most of you if you are an avid follower of either my channel, Missing Persons and Mysteries, or both. Also, if you're a S.D.N.Y fan, as we talk about this all of the time, and many of you had written in or just told us how you've had this exact same thing happen to you right before you had an encounter or experience with something supernatural and or paranormal. It's very creepy, though, in my opinion, when it happens in the woods. I know this for sure because it's exactly what happened to me right before I had my own Glimmerman encounter. Everything in the woods was quiet, but it was like it was too quiet though. Eerily quiet and also unnaturally still. No wind blowing, no leaves falling, no squirrels playing or birds chirping, nothing at all. It's like the entire forest went dead silent. The guy says that though he found this a bit strange, he didn't give it too much thought and continued on his way into his stand. He was determined to get himself a buck that day and was trying not to let all the weirdness distract him from his main purpose and goal, which was that buck. He got up into his stand and started surveying the area, one round in his shotgun with the safety on. He was, in the back of his mind and not even realizing it, not only looking for a buck, but also for anything out of the ordinary or anything that might have been out of place. He was keeping an eye out for antlers, as he said sometimes during the day the deer would bend down, and that's pretty much all you could see of them coming out of the tall grass, just antlers sticking up and standing out. All of a sudden, though, this hunter said that it was the strangest thing. He suddenly felt like he was the one being hunted, or at least that he was being watched. It was an ominous feeling. He says, quote, I don't know how to explain it other than I have this deep feeling deep within me, in my core, in my gut. Something wasn't right, end of quote. Try as he may, though, he simply couldn't ignore it and began to get very annoyed with himself for, quote, being such a coward, end of quote. The feeling intensified more as time went on and night started to fall. He began to contemplate leaving early as something told him he didn't want to be there at dusk. Something deep within him, his human primal instincts, were telling him to get out of there before dusk hit. He explains that as he was arguing with himself about whether or not to leave early, his peripheral vision caught something moving to his right within the trees. He slowly turned his head and began looking through the tree canopy and says he can hardly explain what it was he saw. He describes it as, quote, what looked to be a large bodybuilder, but completely blurry and moving through the trees, end of quote. He could see very clearly that this was a humanoid, but nothing else, as everything besides the general shape was blurry. He said, quote, it looked like a clear gelatinous blob, but in the shape of a large human, end of quote. The thing must have been blending perfectly into the background because whenever it would stop moving, it would seemingly become invisible to him. He watched it for about 15 minutes, though he says it seemed more like an eternity, and he claimed it, quote, moved effortlessly through the trees like a monkey or a squirrel, end of quote. He says he never even saw it look his way once he saw it, but had the distinct feeling that it was watching him until he started watching it. Eventually it was gone, having moved out of his line of sight, and this is when he remembered the long walk back to his truck, alone, at nighttime, and he was terrified. After getting home, he didn't immediately tell anyone, and as time passed by, he kept trying but couldn't ever convince himself it was just his imagination, as eventually when he finally told his wife about it, that's exactly what she said it must have been. He knows better, though, and still to this day can't explain it any better than he has here. What was it he was seeing? He was so scared he never even went back to those woods to get his tree stand, which he claims cost him like $300. He said he had no reasonable or rational explanation as to what it was he was seeing, but felt he gained a bit of understanding, not to mention shock, when a few years later in 1988, he saw the movie The Predator. He says he jumped up and yelled to his wife, quote, that's it, that's what I saw, end of quote. He wondered if perhaps whoever wrote that movie had some kind of similar encounter with one of these entities and was perhaps then inspired to turn it into a movie script. I don't know. It makes sense to me. And I actually never thought about that because I always thought that the government gives these secrets sometimes to Hollywood people so that if something were to happen, like a Glimmerman encounter, we as humans would not only have something to liken it to, hey, that's the thing from that Arnold movie, but also perhaps we should just be a tiny bit less fearful having seen something like this before. Also, if the government gives the secrets to people who can keep them and write a movie about it, right? And if someone's like, I saw the Predator entity, people are going to be like, you've seen that movie too many times, you know, stuff like that, making people think they're going nuts. I believe this, mind you, though I haven't seen the movie and am told that knowing this is what we are seeing would surely bring no comfort at all. This man named James said he also doesn't know whether it makes him feel better or worse that he is now realizing he isn't alone and that many other people have encountered this entity and so many are finally coming out with their encounters in the past year or so. That's kind of what I said. Like, I kind of guiltily feel like, oh, wow, it's not just me. Our next encounter is from a truck driver we'll call Jim, who says he is from Indianapolis, Indiana, and was on his way to Illinois one night in his rig heading east along Interstate 80. He had just had a good 8-hour sleep, so he knew what he saw wasn't due to exhaustion or his eyes being too tired from staring at the road all day and night. As he was driving, he says he saw something really strange, again, out of the corner of his eye, and he goes on to explain in more detail. I was horrified when I read this encounter, but what made me even more terrified was how many encounters I came across of this same exact thing in all different places and situations all across the world when I finally got around to researching it. The fact that this is happening all over the place, like, not that it's much worse than the Glimmer Man, but for some reason, I don't know. So anyways, back to Jim. It was dusk when the sun was just about setting as he drove along I-80 eastbound, and he was fresh as a daisy from a shower and a full day's sleep. He saw something suddenly on the side of the road, and he went out of his way to explain that it wasn't like in the grassy areas leading into the woods we so often see on the sides of highways once the concrete and lines end. No, this thing had its toes literally right there standing on the white line of the shoulder of the highway. Jim said he started to slow down because he couldn't understand what he was seeing, but decided whatever it was big enough, he didn't want to hit it and should probably slow down to avoid hitting it. Once he got down to 50 miles per hour, he could see what it was much better and much more clearly, and this is when the initial shock kicked in. He had his high beams on and realized it was a man of sorts, or at least that's what it looked like at first glance. The height of the man was about 5 foot 10 inches or a little less, and Jim stated that it couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds soaking wet. Once he got just a little bit closer, this man looked up and had no nose, no mouth, no eyes, no nothing, no face at all. Jim said, quote, there was no orifice on his face, end of quote. Completely featureless and also hairless. The man thing didn't even have any lips, pale white skin, and at this point staring directly at Jim. Jim's mama apparently didn't raise no fool, because he admits that at that point, when he saw it head on like that, he slammed on the gas and didn't stop until he hit Chicago. Before we move on to the next account, I want you all to picture in your head the creepypasta, what I think has definitely become a tulpa all over the world, Slender Man. This is the kind of face we are talking about here when we say faceless. The next encounter is from an anonymous person who says he and a few of his friends used to just drive around their hometown at night through all of the lonely back roads surrounded by and winding through desolate forests and empty fields near the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, Canada. Of the hundreds of nights these guys decided to go out and do this just for fun and not really expecting much to happen, this night was definitely different and gave them what they were out looking for, a thrill, but not in the right way. It left them scarred, traumatized, and scared. Here's what he had to say. When they were driving up in some hills one night, they were about 5 miles from the nearest house, and who knows how many miles from the nearest anything, they came around a blind corner up a hill and around. As they turned this blind corner, they saw what appeared to be a little old lady just walking there on the side of the road. There are no sidewalks here, and this was extremely dangerous because had they been driving any faster, they could have hit and possibly killed or really hurt her. She was hunched over a bit and wearing a long coat and some kind of shawl or like hood-like thing. One of the friends started to nervously laugh like, what the hell? And then pondered out loud to the others that they should stop and offer this little old lady some assistance or help. The driver of the car slowed down and approached her, rolling down his window and ready to ask if she needed a ride or some help, if she was lost, or if she needed any kind of help at all out there all alone on this lonely, desolate road, walking along in a very precarious spot, almost in the middle of the road. As they came up beside her, however, that's when they saw it. She had no face at all. Just, quote, a big gray hole where her face should be, end of quote. Same as the last encounter, and so many more I have since come across. No features, no hair, just nothing at all. I get the chills just thinking about encountering something like this. Needless to say, these young kids, too, took off and never looked back. They could think of no possible explanation for what they saw, but did note the time as being the usual, between 3 and 4 a.m. The usual meaning for paranormal and supernatural activity. The witching hour, kind of, around 3-ish. Everyone saw the same thing, and nobody was under the influence of any substances, beverages, or chemicals at the time of the sighting either. Our last encounter is another Glimmerman or translucent humanoid encounter. Just know I am nowhere near done with my encounter series on either of these two entities or the forest entities or anything else Steve and I have been trying to expose since we started working together. You guys will be so surprised with how much information we have come across, but also it's like no matter how much these stories are all seemingly the same, how incredibly different some of them seem to be. Keep that in mind for this particular encounter, as it definitely combines two of my most dreaded fears. A woman in Brighton, England was sleeping comfortably in her bed one night in July of 1988 when all of a sudden she woke up with a very strange and spasm-like sensation running through her entire body. Can I just point out that this is another encounter with the Glimmerman or translucent humanoid that takes place in the 80s. So this thing is not anything new. And I think the reason I was having so much trouble finding anything on it, like after I had my encounter and like dove into research, is because I was looking for something recent. I found so many encounters going back to the 60s with this thing. Anyway, she was completely paralyzed, like in a sleep paralysis encounter, only I'm not sure which is worse. The usual shadow people or sleep paralysis demons we always encounter and see during these episodes, or the fact that she was completely wide awake and could only move her eyes. She remembered how it felt like something had crawled on top of her and was weighing heavily there in her body, especially her chest, as she was having trouble breathing from the pressure that was there because of whatever this was crushing her. She also felt the feeling that there were hands around her throat, choking her. The entity was breathing in her ear and letting out low and guttural growling noises she could hear right next to her face as the hands slowly applied more and more pressure around her throat. She was able to move her eyes, and so she did, and here is what she describes as she looked over to the side where the whispering and growling was coming from. She could hardly see it, but it was like a large and elongated face right there next to hers. She saw the figure on top of her clearly now and explained it as a kind of, quote, lizard or newt-like creature, end of quote. She wasn't sure if it was blending in with the room around it, with its surroundings there, or if it was cloaked by something, rendering it almost completely invisible. This woman claims that in her head was suddenly the thought to stand up to this thing, so she growled at it and bared her teeth. She felt it inside her head, crawling through her thoughts and memories, and she started shouting obscenities at it and making growling and all kinds of animalistic and inhuman noises to try and scare the thing off and intimidate it. And she wanted it out of her sight and out of her home. She was unsure whether it had violated her in any way. After all, it was crawling on top of her in bed in the middle of the night, grunting, so who knows? She was paralyzed completely, so wouldn't have felt anything if it was doing something that terrible to her. But she felt violated and she felt used, and that was enough for her. She was angry, and in the blink of an eye, the thing was off her bed and standing at the bottom of her bed with the moonlight spilling through a small gap in the curtains behind it. This helped to illuminate it and bring into a clearer view what she was seeing. She realized right away, however, that this wasn't the moonlight which was illuminating this reptilian-like beast. Oh no. The lights were described as all different shades of gold and with smaller particles of something that possibly was dust or maybe not, swirling around inside of it, helping to further show her what had been on top of her and in her bed with her. It was a 6-foot-tall reptilian creature who was emanating a sense of happiness and perhaps even pride. As the creature walked forward into where the light now was, its reptilian arms and legs disappeared into the bright and golden, unnatural illumination as each part touched it, so it disappeared seemingly into thin air. As the figure slowly disappeared and was finally gone, the woman said that's when she realized that it did in fact sexually assault her, and she was really sick to her stomach at this point. This explains the look and feeling of happiness and pride she felt emanating off of it for a minute there. It's like that was its way of letting her know what it had done and how it felt about itself afterwards. Good job, buddy. It was pure and total evil and something I would never want to experience because I don't know where that strength came from to stand up to it like that. And I'm not so sure I would have that instinct, but who knows? I'm more of a play dead and pray it doesn't actually kill me type of woman, but that's just me. that's all I have for you today, guys. Just kind of a short part 1 encounters videos. I have a lot of part 2s coming out that I'm working on from a series I've already started. I also have some part 3s, right? I am so excited about all of the new series and your guys' reaction to them. Thank you so much for your patience and tolerance of my constant research and kind of switching around what I'm talking about. But I know you guys are loving the content because the comments have been so incredibly amazing. 99.99% of the time, right? Can't please everybody. So guys, yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I know some of you have seen what I've been doing with the oracle readings. If you want a private reading, just email me. And also, if you have any encounters with the supernatural and or paranormal that you want to be a part of my listener encounter series, please email any of that stuff to GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com. I will do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible, but you're going to have to be patient with your girl. I don't know if I'm going to be incorporating astrological once a month oracle readings, but I want to do something with it. I kind of feel like I need to. I'm feeling the calling to put that on my channel. So we'll see how it goes. You guys can definitely let me know your thoughts, worries, issues, opinions, or your thumbs up for that. It's just a quick little video to get you guys all amped up for what is to come, right? Check out any of our live streams Wednesday nights right here on this channel. Steve Stockton and I, S.D.N.Y, are doing oracle readings for anywhere from 2 to 3 hours starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
1 second, let me shut this down. Set up for the next one. There we go. Yeah, because she doesn't do that. I don't have to ask her about that Caleb Smith thing because it kind of went quiet back in the day. And I'm not sure if that's the one they all of a sudden started having a problem with. 1 second here. I want to set up the next video in case we decide to do it. Dun, 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 dun. Gotta find it now. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, my ex, man, when she got mad. She got mad. So I had a place in the basement. Even had a fireplace. So and my PlayStation 1 was down there. So I just go hide in there. The kids would all run to the room. And they would just let her be. Yeah, have any of you seen a couple of videos that are out that's been circulating for a while now of the guy? There's one of a guy and his son that are walking on a path in the woods, and they see one of these translucent things, and it really freaked them out. I have a hiding cave. Yeah. Most guys, I think, they do. That's why they call them man caves. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can find this. Come on, where'd it go? I just had it already, too. Okay, come on, come on. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? You should be coming up to it. And all you new folks that are popping in and out, I hope you're having a good night and a good weekend so far. Let me find this next one. I just had it. I had them all lined up. Now, poopies. Really? Come on. Wait a minute. Did I pass it? Are you serious? Oh. Wait a minute. How did I miss it? Man, I hate that. I had them all lined up. Okay. Where'd it go? Now I know I've gone too far. Yeah, now I know I've gone too far. I hate when this happens. A lily had it lined up and ready to go. Talks amongst yourselves. I figured this out. Why did it do this? Come on. Wait, when it does. Okay, there's that one. It should be right up here. I just had them all lined up. I had a couple things set up so I could just go run to the other when we were ready. I hope Cindy Lee doesn't trip on her foot. I know it's gotta hurt. There's nothing worse when your hands and your feet hurt. It sucks. Okay. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? My daughter bought a new mark. Well, that's nice. I hope she likes it. I don't know if I'd own a Mercedes. My friend was all happy. One friends, I don't talk to him too much anymore, but he went out and bought a new. Oh, excuse me. Went out and bought a new Cadillac. And I didn't. She heard me, huh? And my dad told him, well, good luck with that new Cadillac. You know, they have problems. And it was like 3 weeks after he got it, he went to turn the defroster on the back window, and the whole thing shattered. And it costed me a fortune to fix it. Where'd it go? Seriously, this is ridiculous. It's like it disappeared. The translucent ones are disappearing. It disappeared. Oh, come on. This is ridiculous. I just had it. Man. Now I'm thinking I've gone too far again. I hate when this happens because this happened a couple times now. And what I do is I get a couple of things set up, and then when I get done with the other one disappears. This is ridiculous. No, that's not it. Come on, it's not that new. Then again, it might be. No, it wasn't that new. I used to have a couple fat boys, Mike, Harleys, big boys, fat boys. Both of them were cherry red. Well, one was red and one was cherry, and it was red and blue. The first one, a semi hit me. Luckily, I didn't get ended. And then the second one, I didn't see her, but an old lady and a VW bug backed into me, and I got off the bike. She ran over both bikes got trashed, and I just figured, apparently I wasn't meant to ride a bike, so I had never replaced them. And the funny thing was, both times I was not moving. It's pretty sad. Oh, you have a Road King? Those are nice. I believe my brother Mike had a Road King. He loved it. He stopped riding because he said other people made him too nervous. Yeah, me too, Mike. Me too. The semi probably would have been the one that would have done it. Luckily, I caught him coming out. He was backing out too. And I was at a gas station. And he was backing up to get lined up with, where they refilled the gas station tanks. And I could hear the beeping, but when I looked back, he was still a pretty good distance away. The next thing I know, I hear a guy at one of the pumps go, dude, watch out. And the next time I turned around, man, he was on top of me. I dropped the bike and rolled, and he literally back in the truck, hit my bike, went under his tires, and I was literally under his truck. And I got scraped up pretty good. But yeah, the old lady, that was both of our parts, because I saw her. I didn't think she was leaving yet. And next thing I know, she was right on. I turned around out of the corner of my eye, caught her out of the corner of my eye, and she was backing up pretty fast. I just jumped off the bike. As soon as I jumped the bike, she hit it. I was so pissed. So pissed, because I just got that one. Where'd it go? This is getting ridiculous. I'm playing Search the... I didn't think it... I should have marked it. I knew I should have marked it. One second here. I wasn't scared either time. Let me see if I can find this. I may give up, because I had them all. I had them all. The two lined up so I could just go from one screen to the other. Okay, let me try this one more time here. I'm starting to get agitated. Here's the first one I just did. I knew it wasn't that far from it, and I had it marked on another page. And then when I'm done with this one, the other page disappeared. Okay, here we go. I know it was not far. Sorry about this, folks. I've been trying to do 2 a night. Make it your work time. I'm going to lose viewers because of this, but that's all right. A lot of people come back and watch the replays, at least a little bit of it, and I appreciate that so much. Should be coming up to it. Those, I remember those. One second here. Yeah, because she did 2 of them. I had it sit. I hate when this happens. Maybe the video wasn't as... I know it was at least 2 years old. She did them pretty far apart. Oh, come on. I'm about ready to give up here. Check one more time. Yeah, I'll do some of the alien stuff she did too coming up. Okay, come on. This is getting me really upset. Like it just disappeared out of nowhere. This is ridiculous. Oh, come on. Now I am getting upset. It's like it disappeared. Now these are getting too new. I didn't think it was that new. Nah, poop. Now I'm upset. It's like it just disappeared. I'm going to lose viewers. I want to look one more time on my way down. If I don't find it, we'll just say screw it. And if I find it, we'll do it next week. Because I literally had it marked and ready to go. This is twice now this has happened. Because I knew when that new. I thought it was in here. It was right in here, I thought. Do one of her old readings. That's funny. Interesting. Now I can't find it. This is driving me nuts. Oh well. Yeah, because I didn't think it was that new. I try not to do too new ones because a lot of them had, premieres with them. Oh, here we go. Aha, I found it. Get it set up here. Okay, much better. I don't know why it did that. Okay. That's okay. Border is going to be on this. Now, Mike, behave. No, but she did a bunch of alien stuff, and I'm trying to sprawl stuff out. I don't want to do all of her stuff, but I'm working, one of the reasons I do this is so some of her older stuff can get kind of like a premiere that they didn't get back in the day when they didn't do the premieres. I like them doing the premieres, that first time it shows. Gives everybody a chance to hang out. You're fine, Mike. You're fine. We just got to watch getting political. We try to keep this kind of neutral. Believe me, I have a lot to say too. Gemma, we won't even start with Gemma. She's like my dad. You get her going. Oh man. So yeah. But she's respectful of everybody, so you're fine, Mike. Don't worry about it. Yes, it does, Riley. Yes, it does. It sure does. That's interesting. You showed up in my StreamYard. You didn't show up in my YouTube. That's weird. Let me refresh. There we go. Elon Musk is going to go, I have all, outer space. Yeah, isn't it true? That's really wild, Riley. You showed up in my StreamYard, but you didn't show up in my YouTube. Kind of cool. I've seen that happen before. But yes, the other one we're getting ready to watch is More Encounters with Translucent Human Men, the Glimmer Men Uncloaked. We'll do that here in a sec. Give it a little break here. Give my eyeballs a little break. Did you get that taken care of, Cindy? Yeah, he'll have everybody else. But Elon wants to go to Mars. So we'll see if that happens. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, it's pretty weird. He showed up in my StreamYard, but he didn't show up on my. There he is. We should never make anyone God. The problem is people blindly support. Yes, totally agree. Let's just keep it tame. But I agree with what you're saying, Riley. I do. He's right there. He showed up. He's right above you. Yeah, he didn't show up the first time in YouTube. That was weird, but he was in my. But that's happened before, and we don't know why it happens. And then I've had times it shows up in YouTube, but it didn't show up in the StreamYard chat because I got two going. So if I ever block anybody bad from StreamYard, it'll be under Gemma's name. So don't assume Gemma's here. How you doing, Riley? I hope you're having a good night and a good weekend so far. And once again, to all the people watching in the background, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in, hanging out for a bit. We're getting ready to start the second video upload. I like to call them upload. But these translucent glimmermen, they're kind of interesting kind of things. I don't know if you want to call them, cryptids, or are they aliens? Are they our own government? Because we know we do have cloaking ability now. I know you've seen there's videos out there with that ability. Did you see? Yeah, he did say he likes to be called Riley, but he's good with Ron, if I remember right. Right, Ron? Riley, Ron? You can call him Riley Ron. I don't know. But he said one night he prefers Riley, so that's what I got. Who got 12 kids? I just seen today that he has. Oh, Elon Musk has 12 kids. Yes. Yeah, he's got a few. He's got a few kids. Yes, he does. I like Riley. I like that name. Ron is a common name. I mean, it's like my name's Steven. You say Steven, and like 6 of us, 7 of us turn around. That's why I either go by Steven or Stephen Lee. Yeah, Elon Musk, yes. He's like a couple other guys that got their names out there, got quite a few kids. And from different women. What time we got? 1:42. We're going to go ahead and start this next video. If that's all right with you folks. Keep talking in chat. Enjoy yourselves. I'm in there too. I'm just trying to watch my voice. And let me get it going here. Like again, if there's any problem with sound, please let me know. Ding dong. Okay, share a stupid video, Steve. There we go. Share. Okay, here we go.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing more strange, creepy, and terrifying encounters with the translucent humanoid or glimmerman/predator entity. It's by far the most viewed video on my channel, and you guys really didn't seem to like urban legends that much, and I really didn't think you would, actually. I actually mentioned it in one of the videos before, but these are real, and I only tell you guys encounters. I only repeat the ones that I think have a ring of truth to them, that I really feel in my heart are real, are coming from a genuine place. So this really scared me because of my own personal encounter, but let me get to the script because I think I'm going to end up repeating myself. As most of you well know by now, I am highly committed to putting out one video a day until the day after Halloween before I take a week off or two from content and get caught up with not only scripts for my channel, but all of the other projects I'm working on as well. I put out some demonic hauntings and some creepy urban legends, but there's one thing my mind keeps wandering back to. The glimmerman or predator entity or translucent humanoid being, whatever you choose to call it, it's pretty terrifying. I've had my own encounter, and if you haven't seen or heard that one yet, then please be sure to check it out after this video. You can find a video about it on this channel and the story being told by our very own Steve Stockton on Missing Persons and Mysteries, sometime very early in the Listener Encounter series over on that channel. As I research, I keep hearing more and more strange, bizarre, and sometimes even scary encounters with these beings. I have my own theories as to what they are, and believe it or not, I don't think they're all one thing. I've said it before, I believe there's one type, the type known as the predator entity, and it's extraterrestrial in nature and pure evil. This is the one I think I encountered that day not so long ago in the woods near my house. Then I believe there's a government one, possibly special soldiers sent into the woods cloaked with some kind of secret technology in order to catch or watch the alien ones, or for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know. I just think they're government, and that's what makes the most sense to me. There's a new wave of encounters, though, and that's the ones where this entity actually silently approaches someone and heals them. I don't have any of those encounters here, but I am working on a script for them. I've heard of them healing everything from migraines to tumors. I decided to look at which videos were the most popular on my channel so I can give you guys what you wanted to see, as long as it was at least a little bit scary, right? Because of the Halloween season. And my encounter with the Glimmerman predator entity is pretty much by far the most viewed video or videos. So you know me, I'm always trying to please you guys, always trying to make the masses happy. So here they are, some more encounters with translucent humanoid beings. As most of you know, if you saw my video or heard my story, and also if you ever heard Steve Stockton's encounter with the Glimmerman, they're quite bold. They don't seem to be hiding in the woods, at least not all of the time. Steve encountered one in the middle of a busy street in downtown Oregon, and I encountered one less than 100 feet from a well-traveled and busy road. This first encounter is one just like the ones Steve and I had. Apparently, they are so emboldened as to have no issue with walking amongst us. Maybe in the past, they wouldn't have been so easily recognizable, but today, it seems a lot of us in this community especially are onto them. This encounter was written by an anonymous person on a forum for all kinds of things that are strange and paranormal. He immediately states he isn't asking anyone to believe him, but he has been so haunted by what he saw that he had to see if anyone else out there has had such an encounter or has ever seen such a strange and scary thing. He states he was 15 years old at the time and being driven to school. He claims he and his mother, who was driving him, were going along a busy road when a quote-unquote man walked right across the street directly in front of the car. It was like it had no fear at all of being hit. He says the quote man, and I put that in quotation marks because, well, he says it was more like a silhouette of a man, quote, but as if he were invisible, end quote. He could only even see there was a human shape of a man there because of the lights and some color reflecting off of it and all around. Basically, the sun was shining on whatever it was and giving it away. This is the exact same thing that happened to me and that we hear all of the time, that it either, quote, glimmered and shimmered in the sunlight, end quote, or that it was, quote, like heat rising up off the asphalt on a boiling hot summer day, end quote. The writer stated, quote, it's so strange to describe. It was as if he was made of glass or mirrors, but barely distinguishable from his surroundings, as if he was invisible, but not quite, end quote. He says he was literally pushing his mother's arms in a pure panic, trying to get her to make a turn so that she didn't hit this man. She had only swerved a little, but managed to somehow still miss this thing in the road. Obviously, she was not happy and reprimanded him all the way to school that day. He says he couldn't find anything about it online because he didn't know how to describe it. I wonder if she actually did hit it and kind of just went right through it and nobody noticed. He thinks, despite how vividly he saw it, that maybe he didn't see it at all. And in my opinion, this is exactly what these types of things count on, making us think that we're losing our minds. This must have taken place quite a while ago. Either that, or he didn't ever hear of the terms Glimmerman, translucent humanoid entity, or predator entity. I hope he comes across at least something and finds some peace of mind. This next one really gives me the creeps, and I wasn't even sure if I should put it in this video under this heading because it's technically not what we always know as the Glimmerman or translucent entity encounter. But it made me wonder, is this what this thing looks like without the cloaking device? So I think I may have come across something. I may have an encounter with the Glimmerman entity without its cloaking device. And this could be something else altogether, though I'm in the paranormal community and I'm psychic and empathic and all of those things. I am really not well versed with cryptids, okay? But I think that this could very well be the Glimmerman uncloaked. Let's see what you all think. Was this or could this have been the Glimmerman without his technology that cloaks him? In the summer of 2011 in Rossville, Illinois, just after the sun had gone down and the light of the full moon was beaming down, two friends were bored and walking through a local cemetery on the edge of town. Always a good start to a nice, creepy, scary story, right? As they were walking around, it sounded like something had come crashing and running through the gate at an almost inhuman speed. One of the friends chuckled and said to the other, quote, "Did you hear that?" End quote. The other responded with, quote, "I saw it," end quote. This person claims that they got a good look at what seemed to be a very tall, pale, and emaciated looking humanoid figure running on all fours between the headstones just to the left of where the pair were walking around. Very, very close to them. A little too close for comfort, if you ask me. It was completely hairless, and unfortunately, its face couldn't be seen very well. They were already waiting for another friend to come and pick them up and bring them home. And by this time, the second friend had also seen this abomination. The thing started circling them as birds do their prey. They stood perfectly still in fear and dread and felt like they were about to be attacked and possibly killed by this thing. Then the one friend said that she got a feeling that she just knew that they actually weren't in much danger. This person claims they felt more like it was curious about them and wondering who they were, what they were doing there, or even what they were at all to begin with. It wasn't a coyote or a stray dog. As the writer says, they definitely could tell the difference. As it's being described, it seems a pretty extreme stretch of the imagination to think this thing is anything that's known to us right now, at least as far as what I know about cryptids and, wildlife. Like, I'm from Paterson, New Jersey. If you don't know it, look it up. There's no wildlife. Was this thing a vampire? That kind of is exciting, especially for me to think about. Was it some kind of unknown cryptid? Was it a sickly something or other that lurks in the woods that we already know about, but that it just lost its hair and got sick for some reason? It was moving faster than any human could. The person saw the head but not the face and said there was no muzzle. They stated, quote, "It definitely didn't have fur. It had pale, almost bluish skin. And I remember I can make out the ribs from where I was standing. I was up all night researching this thing. And when I did fall asleep, I didn't sleep well." End of quote. This was back in 2011. Our next encounter happened to a student who was from Indonesia and only here in the United States to go to college. They claim their entire childhood was ridden with horrific nightmares and strange beings. Red eyes attached to dark, almost ape-like hairy figures standing over their bed. They would wake up every night screaming in terror and fear. This went on from the time they were 5 until about the age of 12 years old. This makes me wonder, too, if only certain more sensitive people can actually see this thing, this glimmer man. This person was hanging out in their bedroom and they decided to go and make something to eat in the kitchen. This is what they claim took place. Quote, "When I opened my bedroom door, immediately I saw a translucent humanoid sitting on the floor with its legs crossed and facing the opposite direction to my bedroom's door. When it noticed me, it started to get up from the floor and turn its body to face me. It was rather skinny with long arms and clearly defined outline, just like the cloaking alien in the Predator movie, only smoother, I think, about maybe 5 feet tall. I remember instantly feeling a very negative, malicious energy from that thing." End of quote. This person, and I'm not sure if they're male or female, that's why I keep referring to them in this way, closed and locked the door and was so terrified they were literally frozen in place in fear. They said their first thought was to hide underneath their bed, but then they kind of laughed that off, like, that's probably not going to work. This thing would probably be able to find them. Who knows if it could turn completely invisible at will? That's the problem, though, isn't it? We just don't know anything about them, really. They finally made the decision to just stay locked in their bedroom until the next day. They believed it was an evil spirit and that the rising of the sun would ward it off. Boy, does this person need a lesson or two in the paranormal, huh? Sunlight does not get rid of evil. Sorry. They finally left their room around noon the next day, and this is what they ended their encounter with. Quote, "The recent movie titled The Invisible Man 2020 reminded me of my encounter with that thing. I did some research about it online and found out that it lives in the forest or sparsely human populated areas. Some say it's a cloaked Bigfoot, but I think it's something different. A Bigfoot would have had a thick, tall physique, wouldn't it? This thing was 5 feet tall and slender, and based on what I saw from its outline, I think it maybe had short hair, like shoulder length maybe. The house I used to live in Arcadia is also very close to the Angeles National Forest, so maybe it came down from the forest area. I just don't know." End quote. Guys, please pay very close attention to this last encounter. I had to put it in here despite how long it is because it reminds me, it has almost every element of the Missing in the Woods plus Glimmer Man. This last encounter took place in the San Bernardino National Forest, and apparently none of the 4 people could believe what they had seen and actually had to sit down and discuss it together to come to the agreement that none were losing their minds and that they had all, in fact, witnessed and experienced the exact same thing. These 4 friends were hiking there in the National Forest, and as they were making their way to Clark Summit that Friday morning, one by one, they all noticed they were starting to veer off the trail. When they all asked the female in the lead why she was meandering off the trail the way she was, she claimed she could hear a woman calling for help. She said, quote, "I can hear a woman talking. You guys don't hear that?" End quote. The other 3 hadn't heard a thing, even when they stopped right there to try and listen. They heard nothing which could possibly be mistaken as a woman in distress or otherwise. They were eager to set up camp and tried hard to convince her to just leave it alone, just let it be. After all, they hadn't heard a sound and were kind of annoyed to be going off the trail like they were. They were tired and wanted to just get to their destination so they could rest. I'll let them tell you the rest of it because I don't even know how to put this into my own words. Quote, the friend in front is female and insisted that what she heard sounded like a female calling for help and that she sounded, quote, really close. So I think she felt inclined to investigate a possible female in distress while we were totally okay with going on about our business. Okay, I get a bit spooked now because she's absolutely serious and we absolutely could not hear whatever it was she was hearing. Here's where it got weird. We only ventured off the trail about 300 to 400 meters, yet at one point, we were completely lost. We don't have any fancy gear or GPS stuff because we've never needed it, but we've been on this trail enough to know we hadn't gone far, yet we couldn't find the trail in any direction after walking for about 15 to 20 minutes. I started to feel weird, kind of dizzy and lightheaded, and when I mentioned this to the other two, they said they felt weird as well. It was like something had changed the environment around us or moved us somehow to another location. I had no idea which way to go, and now it was fully dark. My female friend said the woman's voice had said, quote, I'm over here, and, quote, please help me, end quote. She said it sounded like she was hurt and or crying. So here we are, somehow lost after only walking for about 20 minutes off a large trail because my friend is hearing voices. We decided to stop walking in any direction because the last thing you want to do at night is get even more lost. We had 2 tents and sleeping bags in our packs, so we found a clearing and set it up. Before we could even lay down to rest, I noticed a tree near us was moving as if something was climbing it. It was really dark and I wore glasses, so I really struggled to see, so I called my friends over to see it. I thought it was an animal at first, but it wasn't an animal. It wasn't anything. I could see the outline of what roughly looked like a human shape, but it was transparent, like completely see-through. The best way I can describe it is the way heat waves look on the pavement in the summer. You know, that wavy / liquid effect. They saw it too. My male buddy said, quote, what the are we looking at, end quote, when he finally spotted it. They all said the same thing. It was transparent, but still visible due to the foliage around it being displaced and moving as it moved. We all just stood stone still, whispering theories back and forth as to what we thought we were seeing. I thought it was some kind of optical illusion, but they all immediately jumped to aliens. Of course. The thing just sat there, perched on a large branch about 50 feet up. It's like it was watching us watch it. The other oddity is that after staring at this thing for about 10 minutes, we noticed all the normal forest sounds we heard prior had stopped completely. I mean, the only noise was us talking and the leaves under our feet. The hairs on my neck stood up and I had goosebumps all over when I realized this. Like something was truly wrong. Let me just stop for a minute and say that this happens every single time someone encounters a Glimmerman, a portal to another dimension. It's getting more and more commonly reported, guys. Keep up with the research. I'm telling you, it's crazy. After about 10 minutes of us standing there, whatever this thing was started to climb up the tree even more until we could no longer see it at all. We approached the base of the tree slowly and walked around in a circle with our necks craned up, trying to see this thing. It was too dark and the trees were too close for us to see the top. We didn't hear it jump to another tree, so we assumed it was still up there. We were all too spooked, obviously, to camp right underneath whatever this was. So we gathered up our stuff and started walking towards the moon. I kid you not, after about 5 minutes of walking, we were back on the same trail. I literally dropped my bag and said, what the, out loud. We all stood there confused, looking around, trying to confirm what we were seeing. My buddy likes to joke, and he said that maybe we had walked through some hallucinogenic spores and had imagined all of it. I highly doubt that, but whatever happened, it seemed kind of, I guess, predatory. Like it seems like something was luring us or trying to confuse us. My friend still thinks we were effing with her about not hearing the woman she had claimed to hear. Was it that thing we saw imitating a woman? How did we get lost so close to the trail? This was easily the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in the wilderness. We still don't have a good theory as to what we saw. It may not have been alien, but whatever it was humanoid and it was 100% transparent. Somehow and able to climb a really large tree with ease without making much noise either. I would love to hear any theories about what this may have been. Has anyone else seen anything like this in the woods. I feel I should mention no drugs were consumed. End quote. What do you guys think of these encounters? As always, I bring you stories and things that I just feel are true. Like I said, it always amazes me how many encounters are being had now. And I sit and wonder, though, if maybe there have been this many all along, possibly since the beginning of time. Maybe this thing is ancient. And I got that feeling as it stared at me and was trying to lure my son. As I made what I thought was eye contact with it, I got this feeling of just ancient evil, ancient predator, right? Like I was some kind of flea, it could just flick away. I really honestly felt that way. So I wonder about that. Maybe it's just now that we're starting to take notice with all the talk about and research being put into finding out what's going on with our missing in the woods, which this thing is probably a big part of. Not the whole part, but probably a big part of. The fact that we can capture these entities at least some of the time is maybe what is making it only seem like it's happening more and more often. So be sure and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you enjoyed spending this time with me, if you like the content, and just to make me happy. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, make sure your notification bell is on, and please spread the love by sharing this video. It's important to share videos like this to get the word out so that we can stop having people in the woods being lured by these things. Again, I do not at all think that the translucent humanoid entity is the only reason for our strange missing in the woods. You guys should know that, right? The Fae, cryptids, ferals, the government, extraterrestrials, serial killers, humans, accidents. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I do think, I really do, especially after my encounter, that they're a very, very big part of it. Please remember, I'm a little bit behind on my emails and on catching up with comments, but I will get back to as many as I can, probably within the next week or two. If you're waiting on a personal reading, it is coming. I'm trying to get them done as fast as I can. I'm just emailing them to you. If you're emailing,
actually, Ron, there's a lot of factors. And people are still missing. There's so many possibilities when it comes to missing people. It is just insane. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, you really should. From the bruising, from what I can tell of your picture, the bruising that was there, it might be possible you might, if you broke it, you might have done a little nerve damage. And even if you didn't break it, if you bruised it really bad, you might have, that's why you're having that on one side cotton and then down at your toes cold, or how you explained it. That's a kind of a sign of nerve damage. So you definitely want to get it checked out. If you got swelling, just remember 15 minutes of hot, or hot enough that you can stand it, and then 15 minutes of cold. You alternate with a little space in between. That will also help with pain. Believe me, I've had my share. Broken fingers, broken toes. Broke my nose. Yeah, these translucent things are interesting things. I've seen some really good videos that I'd probably say of all the videos I've seen, just like 4 of them, 5 of them, I would say that they're probably legit. There's another video I saw a while back ago where these people are like sitting on a deck, and their deck is like up on a hill and it goes down into a forest, and they're watching the trees move, and then the tree actually breaks. You see, it looks like something jumps on it, and it actually breaks, and then you see as it's breaking, it jumps off onto another tree, but you can't see it. But man, it was crazy. It's a crazy video. Good. I'm glad you're doing that. Yeah, don't use I wouldn't use icy hot or any kind of that stuff on it. Yeah, just use hot and cold. Or if you can soak it in Epsom salt or something, and that might help a little bit. But watch using any ointments on it right now. Yeah, I saw that, and that's why I was kind of concerned. I was going to say something to you in your post, but I was kind of hoping I'd see you tonight. No, what did Mike say? That's why I don't go hiking with. Yeah, and see, the thing is, a lot of people don't hike with weapons when I think they should. But see, some parks, they don't allow you, I don't think. I don't know. It's been a long time. Now, see, every time we've gone camping, I've always made sure that we've had a weapon because you never know. I never understood why people go without taking something. I mean, unless you got a machete or something, a knife ain't going to do really much. I don't think you'd want to get that close. So, yeah. Yeah, I figured you do because I know you carry, Mike. Yeah, and I agree, Riley. It is a must. It's why I always freak out. Ooh, sorry. I always freak out when people don't, when you see these people out there not carrying any kind of weapon. And people, sometimes, Riley, things happen so fast. It's not silly mistakes. It's just things happen so fast that some people don't get the time to think. It just, boom, and it's happening. So they just react. And that's when you make your mistakes. Because everybody reacts differently to a situation. You could have 5 people standing together and have something happen. Each one of them would probably act very differently. Yes. I think she did that one too. I'll take a look. A lot of people think too that some of these people go missing in portals. She's got some encounters where, 1 minute they're there and 1 minute they're gone. To me, that sounds like a portal. Or a crack in the veil. Now, see, I've heard people say that Bigfoot can tell if you're packing or not. I probably would believe that. Most animals have that instinct, not just Bigfoot. Especially primates. Now, we were watching this. Dad was watching the old Monster Quests. They show them on one of the cable stations, and he was watching one of the old Monster Quests. And they were in India, and they were chasing this monkey man. Well, the more they talked about this monkey man, the more I realized they were really talking about Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Because and when they described him, that's exactly what it sounded like. A bigger gun, yeah, higher caliber. Yeah, it's not bad. If you can carry one like that, you can't. You should. Most of the time, Bigfoot stays away. Yeah, they don't. They try to stay away. Yeah, and I don't blame them. When all those fires happened up in Canada, and they all happened simultaneously. I don't know if you folks know what I'm talking about, but last year there was like a bunch of fires up in Canada, and if you watch the Skyview, the radar version of it, they all almost at the same time. A lot of people think that they set those fires to flush Bigfoot out. And during mating season. That's funny. You guys are characters. And they must have crashed tonight. I'm glad she gets some rest. Oh, you did? Oh, that's right. You're up that way. Yes. And then right now, around Gemma, Jersey's having fires. There's fires all the way around LA right now, too. But yeah, those fires, if you go back and look at the radar and if you look at this one radar where you can, I'll have to pull it up next time we're together. You actually see all these fires start almost right at the same time. And it's really sus. It's really sus how it just boom, 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 boom. And it's pretty sus when that happens. Because I've seen it happen too out in the West here. Yeah, I know you're up by Canada. Yeah, you're 10 minutes away. You're up northeast, right? You're up by Vixen. I haven't seen Vixen for a while. I hope she stops soon before I leave. I know she's been busy. She's a busy lady. She keeps herself pretty active. And that's great. And I just hope she's okay too. Yes, those fires were interesting. And a lot of times when I see them, when these fires start like that, especially out in forests, national parks, it looks kind of sus. It's like, what are you trying to flush out? Though I know, some of those fires start, but when they all start like that at the same time, it's pretty sus. That's like if you go back and look at the fires in Hawaii. If you go and look at the city, everything burnt, but anything that had a red roof. That's interesting. And you notice you don't hear too much about it. But I do know that I have a friend there. He's on the Big Island, but he was telling me that he had heard that they were people as soon as it happened, and they only gave those people they give them $700, that they got real quiet about it. You know, she didn't hear any more about it. That's because they were already trying to land grab that land off those people. But again, I don't want to get too political. What time we got? 2:13. I'm going to take it to 2:30 and call it a night. So, folks who've been watching and hanging with me, I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, some of the stuff that goes on. Now, I have a friend who's a park ranger. He gets me in a lot of the mounds areas and the national parks. He can get me in after dark because they don't know. And he was telling me that there's a park down south. And I won't give the name. But he was working down there doing stuff for them. It's like head ranger. And he thought it was weird that the military had closed, the army had closed the park and were doing maneuvers in the park. But he said it was really weird because usually you can hear them moving. They tell the rangers what they're doing. He said they wouldn't tell the rangers, the park rangers, anything. And it was all done at night. They were real kind of sneaky. And he says they weren't doing maneuvers. They were looking for something. Because at that point, they were having some grass man. For here in Ohio, they call him grass man. And they call him Bigfoot too. But a lot of locals call him grass man. And But he was pretty sure that's what they were looking for because they were having a few sightings. Said there was a bunch of sightings. Today, my great-granddaughter's, oh, well, happy birthday. Tell her happy birthday. Oh, I mean yesterday. That's still happy birthday to her. And you got a lot of grandkids. Are you going to invite us all over for Thanksgiving if that puts you? She made a whopping big dinner last time, didn't you? Was that the year before? Was that last year? Yeah, we're debating if we're going to just do a turkey breast because it's just us three guys. You know, me, Pop, and my son. And then son goes to his mom's, and he always comes home with a ton of leftovers. And then one of my brothers will come up and drop off a bunch of leftovers. Or we'll go there and hang out for a little bit. We don't really eat, but we go over and hang out with them, and then we'll come home with leftovers. Christmas last year was kind of timid here because the Christmas before that we had the garage fire. So nobody was really in the mood to. Oh, thanks, hon. I appreciate that. You know that's that interesting. I'm kind of glad you brought that out because me and my pop were talking about that too, Riley. It's like it goes through spurts, but it's been a while since anything like that's come up. Now we said that. I do know that Australia's had some recent events, and somewhere else had a couple. I don't know if it's up around England and Great Britain. We're in that area, but there was somebody else that had a couple incidents too. But nothing really happening here when it comes to that. And I find that interesting. A lot of people think that was the government too. But if that was the government, man, how'd they do that without, making a whole lot of noise? Unless they came in land-wise. But the cattle mutilation thing has always been an interesting thing for me because if you look at the pictures, everything that's been done to them is so precise, so well done, no blood. A lot of people say it looks like they were dropped when they were found. It looked like they were dropped where they were found. That whatever was done to them wasn't even there. That there was a big chance they were just dropped there. Yeah, there's a weird ones. That's a weird one. But they've always fascinated me. And it always kind of cracks me because you hear about a couple and then you don't hear nothing for a while. A few years go by and then you might hear about a couple. But I had heard that Australia did experience some of these. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in Europe was experiencing them too. Oh, and I believe they happened in Russia too. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Russia that we never hear about. You have to almost go to the dark web and find their newspapers and their articles. You might, be able to do it on the regular web, but I always find the good, juicy stuff on the deep web, whatever you want to call it. Everybody makes it off to be all scary. It's only scary if you go looking for scary stuff. And even then, there's a big chance you're just going to find a honey pot. I wonder what weird things have happened in Siberia. A lot of weird stuff happens in Siberia. They just found in the permafrost a longhorn buffalo that was like 1,000 years old or something. It was huge. The guy's holding the thing. It was huge, but he was still able to hold it. It was amazing. But yeah, you got those domes in the Siberia too. that are out in the one area, and everybody that goes checks them out either gets radiation sickness, and they get real sick. People die trying to check these things out, but they're like an iron dome that's sticking out of the ground, and sometimes they're there, sometimes they disappear, like they sink in the ground, then they pop back up. And I've been trying to find articles on that. I may be one of the top topics that we talk about one Tuesday, because it's really interesting. A couple of shows have done things about them. The white Bigfoot in Siberia, it's actually considered an abominable snowman or Yeti. Yetis are the Bigfoot, snow Bigfoot, in that kind of terrain, like up in the Himalayas. They consider them Yeti or abominable snowmen. They're supposed to be more aggressive too. They don't like you messing around. But that's what I've been told. Now, I'm sure there's out there better people, much better informed than I am on that stuff. I'm more into the weird things and the things that go bump in the night. Yeah, the Doberman Pass. Now, see, a lot of people say that picture could have been a military guy in a suit. You really don't. The picture really, really doesn't give you. I mean, the way it looks, you could almost say it was, abominable snowman or a Bigfoot. But that picture's so fuzzy, and when they try to clean it up, you really still can't tell. But yeah, that is an interesting story. Everybody's covered. I think Gemma's even covered it. We've talked about it. Russia has closed that case, and they said they would open it up. That they, as far as they're concerned, it was solved and it's done. But people still look into it. There's another case just like that, not too far from there, where a bunch of kids and hikers got real sick and started bleeding from their noses and stuff. That's a messed up story. And I think we've talked about that one too. I'll have to pull that story up because I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, that's probably the most famous one. That's kind of like the crazy Donner Pass here with, people eating each other. My son spotted a white female Bigfoot a few years ago up in the mountains here in Pennsylvania. You basically live in the Appalachian Mountains, don't you, Cindy? When I go to Jersey, my favorite thing is to go through the tunnels and go into the Blue Mountains. The Blue Mountains. I love those mountains. One time next time I go, I think I'm going to take an extra day and not do the turnpike and go the back way. Yeah, okay, thank you. But yeah, when you go there, when I was, and every time I've gone, I either talk to truckers that say that they've been on that turnpike at night and have seen Bigfoot crossing it, or standing on the edges of the mountain. There's a couple of mountains sides, and they can see them standing there watching traffic. Well, no way. He goes, yeah, you'd be surprised. Because I don't know why everybody says these things are not real. We see them all the time. Go ask any of the truckers here that go through this all the time. So, I believe they're real. Yeah, I talked to a few truckers. The first time I went out, I hadn't been on the turnpike for a while, so it's been a long time since I've been on the turnpike. And I was in this one area where it goes real steep, and then it drops. Where this guy in this Coca-Cola truck, semi, come flying down there and didn't do a brake check. What do they do? I thought he was going to kill me. I mean, everybody was trying to get out of his way. And this trucker come up behind me and made sure I got out of his way. And he ended up following me to the next truck stop, and I got out and thanked him. And that's when we got to talking. Man, he had some stories. Danum, or something like that. Mystery where the people died suddenly one by one. The Allegheny Mountain. Yeah, there you go. The Allegheny. Well, see, I had family that lived up in the Blue Mountains, or in that area. On my mom's side, I believe. But they were all scattered through the Appalachians, all the way through, all the way down. So, I don't know half of them. Chestnut Ridge. No, I've heard Chestnut Ridge. Now, we had, when I was younger, and Mom was still good. When I was younger, we went to North Carolina. Mom had a friend there. I believe it was North Carolina. No, it was West Virginia. And they were sitting on the porch. I remember as a kid, and she was talking to Dad. She was English. Husband was American. But she'd known Mom for years. They went to school together. And she was telling my dad that one night there was this huge, hairy thing standing in her backyard watching them. They lived right on the mountainside. Beautiful place. But she said for months she wouldn't go out at night. She wouldn't let the dogs out. She made the dogs go out before night. The Gafton Monster, yes, in West Virginia. That is one that Ryan probably would like to talk about. Actually, I'm going to write that down. Where did my pen go? I forgot about that little man, that little, or that creature. Let me try to spell it right. Yeah. That'd be a good topic. There we go. Cool breeze. Thank you for reminding me of that, Riley. Always pick up good topics. We got Tote Road Shagwell here, half bear, half moose. Was that in California? The creatures that just have legs. They're just like stick figure, just got legs and a body. I had a friend that was actually visiting out there, and up in the northern part of California, and he swears he saw one when they were camping. He said it was the freakiest thing. He said, but nobody would believe him. He tried to get them all out of the tents to show them, but he said for just two legs and a body, it would cruise pretty fast across the meadow that was in front of where they were camping. He said it was the weirdest thing you'd ever seen, all white. It almost looked like it was. He goes, I thought I was dreaming. But when they went out to the meadow, you could see where it had gone through, where something had gone through. What time we got? Okay, folks. I'm going to call, I hate to cut this short, but I'm going to call it. Thanks for hanging out with me, folks. These are all good topics, so don't be afraid to bring this conversation Tuesday to Tuesday Talk if you're able to make it at 1 o'clock. Tuesday Talk at 1 o'clock. I hope to be there, but if I'm not, Gemma and Ryan will be there. Then I will be here Thursday at 8 for spooky time, and we can have more of this conversation. So I'm going to start talking encounters again. Friday night, Gemma and Oracles. Then me Saturday night, this same time, and this same Gemma channel for Gemma's Replays. Maybe I'll do some of the alien stuff next week. And have a wonderful night, rest of a night, and a wonderful Sunday. Y'all rest well, and for anybody that's watching over on the other side, have a wonderful day. Yes, Cindy, we'll see you on the flip side. Be safe, and have a good start to your week. And hopefully I see you folks Tuesday. Hopefully, if anything, I get the least come. If I end up having the test, I don't think it's scheduled to like 2:15, and I'll have to leave here about 1:30, 1:45. So if anything, I'll at least be in chat for a little bit. So one way or another, I hope to see you guys Tuesday for Tuesday Talk. If I go to this test, if not, I might be in stream. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And like Cindy says, we will see you on the flip side.